What's up, everybody? It's Greg. So today we're going to talk about something that has been in the news a lot, and that is that Congress passed and Donald Trump signed the $2.2 trillion stimulus package. So this stimulus package is formally known as the Coronavirus Aid, Relief, and Economic Security Act, aka the CARES Act. Obviously, with $2.2 trillion in the stimulus package, mind blown, $2.2 trillion is huge. There's a lot included in this package. It includes things like an SBA loan that can be forgivable for small businesses, expanded unemployment that you can get up to $600 a week from the federal government, and smashing the like button for the YouTube algorithm. And of course, there's the thing that is the most popular or getting a whole lot of attraction in the news, that is stimulus checks. It's kind of like the federal government is pulling an Oprah and saying, you get $1,200, you get $1,200, everybody gets $1,200. That's not really true though. There are very specific rules associated with these stimulus checks. So in this video, I'm going to break those down and explain them. So if you have any questions or concerns about these stimulus checks, please watch until the end of the video. I will hopefully be able to answer a lot of those questions for you. And if you haven't already, please consider subscribing to the channel. Alright, now that I've got that shameless self-promotion out of the way, let's dive into these stimulus checks. Alright, so first off, not everybody is eligible to receive these stimulus checks. There's an income phase out. So for individuals, anybody making $75,000 or less is eligible to receive this $1,200 stimulus check. Anybody making above $75,000, for every extra $1,000 you make, the stimulus check goes down by 5%. This happens until the entire $1,200 is depleted. So in a range from $75,000 to $99,000, you'll get a portion of a stimulus check. Anything above $99,000, so if you're making over $99,000 in a year, you don't get any stimulus check. It's very similar for those filing a joint return. However, instead of just getting $1,200 for your stimulus check, you actually get $2,400, so one for each adult, plus you get $500 for each qualifying child. The income phase-outs are essentially doubled since you are filing a joint return. So instead of starting at $75,000, the income starts at $150,000. So if as a family you make $150,000 or less, you get the full $2,400. That phases out completely by making $198,000. The federal government included these income thresholds to essentially give money to those who need it most without giving money to people that don't necessarily need it. One of the most popular questions concerning these stimulus checks is whether or not they are taxable. The short answer is no, and I'm going to explain why. These stimulus checks are an advanced refund for a tax credit that you are going to claim on your 2020 taxes. So I'm going to explain some tax terms for you to help you understand what a tax credit is. A tax deduction reduces the amount of taxable income that you have. So if you have a $2,000 tax deduction, it would essentially mean that your taxable income is going to decrease by $2,000. Obviously, that's a good thing. If you can reduce the amount of income that is taxable, then your tax goes down as well. Then there's things called non-refundable tax credits. Tax credits are different than tax deductions because tax credits actually reduce your amount of tax, not necessarily the taxable income that you have. In that way, they are better than tax deductions because they are a dollar for dollar decrease in your actual tax. Non-refundable tax credits will reduce your tax to a point that you pay zero in taxes, but it won't ever reduce it beyond that. So that means a tax credit could get you to the point where you owe no taxes, but it wouldn't make it so that the government would pay you for that tax credit. Then there are refundable tax credits, and that is when the government would actually pay you even if it reduced your taxes to a point that it was below zero. And that is what these stimulus checks are. They are a refundable tax credit that you will claim in 2020. Since we are nowhere near filing our 2020 taxes, that'll actually be done in early 2021, the federal government is going to use our 2019 taxes to estimate the credit that we are going to be able to receive and then refund that advanced so that we get it now. Within the CARES Act, it explains that if you have not filed your 2019 taxes yet and the federal government can't use that to estimate your taxes, they will go back to 2018. So you are not taxed on the refund that you get because it is a tax credit, and you are not going to be on the hook to pay any of that money back unless you jump above that income threshold. So since they are a tax credit that you are going to be claiming on your 2020 taxes, the question is whether or not you will get $500 if you have a kid in 2020. And the answer is yes, you will still get the tax credit for the kid. You'll still get that $500, but you won't get it right now because they are using your 2019 taxes to estimate the credit that you are going to be able to receive. So they can't give you $500 yet, but when you actually file your 2020 taxes, they will give you that credit. So many people have wondered, how will I get my check? Really, to get your stimulus check, all you have to do is smash the like button. The IRS is just going to pull from your 2019 taxes and say, okay, this person decided they want a direct deposit into this certain bank account, and that is what they will use to deliver your stimulus check. However, if you decided to use snail mail on your 2019 tax return, then obviously the stimulus check is going to be used snail mail, and it'll take a while for you to get your stimulus check. All right, now that you know that they are using your 2019 taxes to really base a lot of their decisions off of, especially on delivery of your stimulus check, what happens if you moved or you changed bank accounts in 2020? I've read a lot about this because if you've moved or if you've changed bank accounts, obviously if the IRS tries to send you money, it's not going to reach you. There's not a whole lot of official guidance on this, but as far as I can see, the best thing to do would be to call an IRS representative, explain this, and hopefully they'll be able to change that within their system and get you your stimulus check. I know there's a lot of questions around the stimulus checks, how they work, how we're going to get them. If you guys have any questions, please leave a comment in the comment section and I will address it in a future video. All right, now that I've addressed some of the questions around it, let's actually talk about what to do with the money that we receive. Really, I think the most important thing to do with this money, if you do not have these already, is to get the essentials for your family. And no, I am not talking about panic buying 10 years worth of toilet paper. But what I am talking about is if you need food, use this money to get food for your family. If you need to pay rent so that you have a roof over your head, then pay rent with this money. If you have the essentials taken care of, then option number 2 is to increase your emergency fund. I believe the economic impacts from this virus and the fear that goes along with it are going to be far-reaching, so it's nice to have an emergency savings just in case you need it. Plus, you never know what's going to happen. Even if you have a job now, you may lose that job in the future, you may be injured in something and not be able to work, so it's good to have an emergency savings. All right, option number 3, if you have number 1, the essentials, and number 2, an emergency savings already taken care of, that's awesome. That means you're probably in a pretty good standing financially. So let's talk about some other options that you can do. So one of the first things that you could do with it is obviously invest. I've made a video about investing during a down market and I'll put the link in the description. Another thing you could do is pay off any debt that you have. So if you have credit card debt or maybe a car loan, it'd be nice to pay that off with this stimulus check. And finally, something that I think would be very beneficial and what I also think the federal government is hoping what happens is to pay it forward. So you could take that money and support a local business. Maybe you have a home renovation project that now you have the stimulus check, and so you can hire a local contractor that may be out of work because of this virus and you'll be able to bless his life. Or you could take that money and eat out at a local restaurant or support a different small business. There's a thing in economics called the multiplier effect, and that basically means if I go and I spend my money at a business, well then that gives that guy money, and then he can go and spend his money at another business, and it kind of rolls. The economic impact multiplies over just me spending that $1. That $1 ends up being spent multiple times, and a lot of people are benefited from it. To wrap this video up, I am a bit of a nerd. I spent a lot of time reading this stimulus package and it is 880 pages long, so I still have a lot to read. But if any of you have questions about anything within the stimulus package, leave a comment in the comment section. I'll be glad to address them in future videos. And also, please subscribe to the channel. We'll catch you guys next time.